The New York Jets added CJ Uzoma, Breece Hall, and Garrett Wilson to their offense, but they play in the AFC. What's going on, everyone? This is Zach from Clutch Crew Sports back with another 2022 NFL team preview, and on today here, I've got the New York Jets season to preview. So the New York Jets are an interesting young and up-and-coming team. You know, they've finished at the bottom of the league the last few years, but there's a lot of reason for excitement. Second-year quarterback Zach Wilson, a lot of players coming back from injury on this team, and a lot of new draft picks. So if you're a Jets fan, you're probably pretty excited to at least at the start of this year. But let's go ahead and preview the Jets for this next season. Now, the first thing I kind of want to talk about with the Jets is their offensive identity. Last year, they were a team that just could not convert third downs, could not score points early enough in games, and usually most games they were out of it late into the second half, and they were one of the bottom scoring teams in the league. Not a good offense, not a good defense for the Jets, but especially their offense. It just looked like they had no direction. It was, there'd be some games where they'd rely on the run, some where Zach Wilson would throw it 50 times. But this year now, they've added playmakers on offense. They added some offensive linemen. They added a running back, Breece Hall, in the second round of this year's draft to pair with Michael Carter, who was a rookie last year. They brought in CJ Uzoma. They drafted another tight end early in the draft. And they added Garrett Wilson. They've got Elijah Moore in the receiver room. Corey Davis is in his second year. So there is some continuity with the Jets, and there's a lot of new pieces as well. So with the Jets, the big question is, what's their offense going to look like? Are they going to be a team that throws the ball a lot? Are they going to run the ball? Are they going to be balanced? I think personally they're going to be a run-heavy, run-first team. That's just what it seems like. They built up their offensive line. They clearly value running backs. They drafted Breece Hall. He was the first running back taken in this year's draft. They brought in tight ends. To me, this is a signal that they're going to be a run-first team. That's going to try and be their offensive identity. Not to say that they won't pass when they need to. They drafted a first-round wide receiver. They've clearly shown that they needed to get better at the wide receiver room. I think they've got a lot of receiver depth as well. But I think it's going to be the run game, especially early on. Zach Wilson's still learning the position in his second year. Until he gets comfortable enough to be a star quarterback, they're going to be relying on the run game, and especially with these two running backs, I envision it being a committee, at least between the two of them. Breece Hall probably getting like 70%, Michael Carter getting 30% of the run snaps. But that's just what I envision their offensive identity being. Let me know in the comments if you think they're going to be a pass-first team or not. Pro Bowl watch. So the Jets, not a team that you picture Pro Bowlers on. So I wanted to think, optimistically about this season. If it goes well for the Jets, who are some possible guys that could get Pro Bowl nods, And I went with two guys who are both young and up and coming, and I think this year could be breakout years for them. So on the offensive line, I've got Elijah Vera-Tucker, the guard, who was a rookie last year. Now, he didn't have the best rookie season, but the offensive line around him should be better. It's not like he's their only good offensive lineman now. They've got tackles, they've got guards. The center's a little weak, but I think AVT in his second year is really going to explode onto the scene and be looked at as a, not only a good pick where they had him in the draft, but a key member of the offensive line and a key guard around the National Football League that, is going to be good for a while. So I think he could be on Pro Bowl watch. And then Quinnen Williams on the defensive line. He's always been good stopping the run, but this year I think he takes a step up in the pass rush aspect of his game. He's going to have some better edge rushers around him. wrecking havoc. I think Quinnen's just going to have his best season he's had. And I think that, could lead to a possible Pro Bowl nod. He's obviously coming from Alabama, very, very talented. With the Jets, we just haven't seen it as much. He's been good, but not great. I think this is a perfect case of a guy on this team who could just explode and, make it to a Pro Bowl. And I believe it'd be his 4th or 5th season now. So, he's been on the team for a while. So with the Jets, I've listed out 3 key factors here. A lot of these apply to most teams in the NFL, but especially with the Jets, number 1 I've got is health. Mekhi Becton, injured week 1 of last year. He's going to be crucial for him to come back, be healthy for the majority of the season to protect Zach Wilson. On defense, Carl Lawson was also injured the entire year. He was their big money free agent get, so we haven't seen him yet. Those are 2, new additions that this Jets team didn't have last year that I think if they're healthy, they can contribute a lot. And then just down the board, Elijah Moore was in and out of the lineup consistently. They had other players. CJ Mosley, I know, opted out 2 years ago in the COVID year and has missed time with injuries as well. So all their, key players, keeping the health for the key players is going to be, I think, the number 1 thing for the Jets. They got to be healthy. If they've got any shot of competing for the playoffs, they need to be healthy. Obviously, Zach Wilson included. Last year we saw Mike White play in some games. Zach Wilson, could be susceptible to injury, I think, if the offensive line doesn't perform well. And then going into Zach Wilson's development here, I've got this as this is honestly the most important thing for the Jets, but what kind of step up does he take this year? Because last year he was a bottom 5 quarterback, there's no doubt about it. Too many interceptions, not a good team around him, just a bad situation all in all, and he had a pretty bad year. But there were some moments that he looked good. There were some moments where he did look like he was the number 2 pick in the draft. So how does he make that jump from rookie to sophomore season? I'm not saying that he has to go out and beat Aaron Rodgers right away. That's not the expectation for him. But I would say the expectation become, around the middle of the pack of quarterbacks, be in that 15, 10 to 20 range of best quarterbacks in the league. And I think if he does, especially towards the, 10, if he borderlines top 10 quarterback next year, I think that's huge for the Jets because they'll know they have their quarterback. If he's not, there's going to be a little bit of uncertainty, and you're going to start hearing whispers about should they need a new quarterback, because this team has weapons. They've addressed the offense a lot in this offseason. So there really is no excuses. Like Sam Darnold was given so many excuses with how bad the team was around him and the coaching as well. So Zach Wilson, his development, definitely, no matter what the win-loss is for the Jets, that's the most important thing. And then number 3 is they're winning their divisional games, I think is going to be a key factor for if this team is either in the hunt or in a wild card spot this season. And, it's no secret what their division games are: Miami, Buffalo, and New England. I think they probably need to sweep New England, which, even though New England's not as good as I think they've been in years prior, they still are. It's still a tough game for the Jets. I mean, it's hard to remember the last time the Jets beat New England, in a meaningful game. So beating New England twice, they get them at home in week 8. They go on the road after a bye week 11. So I think they need to sweep the Patriots. Probably split with the Dolphins. It would be nice if they could sweep the Dolphins, but I'm pretty high on the Dolphins this year. I think for the Jets to have, being in the hunt and stuff, they need to at least win their week 5 home game against the Dolphins. So you're looking at, if they sweep New England, split Miami, that's 3-1. Buffalo, I don't see them on the same level as Buffalo, so I'm going to give Buffalo the sweep against them. It's just, and they don't even get the advantage of Buffalo week 18 maybe resting their starters. They don't get that advantage this year. They're going to get Buffalo, fully committed to winning. So, I realistically I can't give Buffalo a loss to the Jets here. So if they, go 500 in their division play, that's a huge step up from a team last year that didn't win any games in their division in the AFC East. And everybody knows it's always every year number one goal for each team, win their division. That's the thing. And then looking at their schedule here, odds makers have their over under set at 5.5 wins. And, people feel strongly both sides about this. I think this is an easy over. I think they can hit 7 wins. Their schedule, they play some tough teams, but the back half of their schedule, Chicago, at Minnesota. I don't like at Minnesota, but Chicago's winnable, Detroit's winnable, Jacksonville's winnable, Seattle's winnable. And then I've already gone through their divisional games. And you never know if they can steal Denver or Green Bay or Pittsburgh, something like that. They were a team last year that beat Cincinnati and they beat Tennessee. So the Jets have shown that they can win these weird games. Of course, they beat the Rams 2 years ago, famously. But I think they're going to go over. And then I want to kind of look with all these teams, how did they do last year versus their expectations? So their over-under last year was set at 4, and that's exactly what they got. Vegas was dead on with the Jets. They won 4 games. They pushed. And, that'll be interesting to see. So obviously Vegas thinks that the Jets got better by 1.5 games. I think they got better by more than 1.5 wins, just due to the fact of Zach Wilson getting better and the team around him, bringing in lots of people through the draft, through free agency. I think the defense is young, but this offense should be a lot better, and I'm excited to see how it looks. Hopefully Jets fans are as well. And with that being said, guys, thanks for listening and watching, and remember, be clutch.